Hey guys, Matthew here. I didn't think I'd be back so soon, but essentially right now there's a very popular build which people are calling a bosser, which is a Hexblast Miner build. Now, to be fair, I think it's a decent build overall. It's a fine mapping build. It looks to be good in, um, for example, logbooks and stuff, but I don't think it's a very good bossing build. So I went back to my OG Eye of Winter Miner Inquisitor, and basically I updated it for you guys. So this is going to be a very short video with a showcase. Then I'm going to hop into the PoB, quickly explain a few of the changes and why I made them. And we're going to look at the stat differences between the old version, this version, the price, and that's about it. So real quickly, this is basically the build in action. So this is from a few leagues ago, but realistically the build hasn't changed. I just have to change a few things on the tree, change a couple things on the clusters to fit everything in. This is a ZHP build. This means that you get hit by literally anything, you die. However, this is an Uber Maven. At the time, this was about a 10 divine budget or something like that. It was very, very, very cheap. But what you're going to see, which is really special with this build, is it can do what's called Maven skipping, right? So you basically do two-phase Mavens. You never have to actually do the memory game, which is a very big time saver. Now, this is not only good for Maven. This also is going to work for all of the other Uber bosses. Matter of fact, Maven is like one of the worst ones because if you do mess up and she actually goes through a phase and she starts spawning ads, good luck, right? But, for example, any of the Eldritch bosses, the Uber versions, they don't matter because they die so fast that even if they go through phases, you just die, you come back in, you finish it. However, you know, if the brain starts spawning, what are they called, like ads and stuff, it can get pretty nasty. Yeah, there you go. So that's like a zero memory game Maven. It's you know, a minute for a full Maven kill. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So this was what it was called back then, Better Cast on Death. And I just want to show the stats real quick. So the build was level 92 and it was sitting at 113. Oh, you can't see it because of my huge face. It was sitting at 113 million DPS. Now, we can argue about the calculations and does it, I don't really give a shit. I'm just using this as a benchmark. So 113 million DPS at level 92, that was the previous setup. Now, the setup that I was able to make for very cheap sits at 65 million DPS, so about half the damage at level 91, right? Now, why is it so much worse? Well, for the most part, is because apparently Skin of the Lord, Skin of the Loyals are really expensive, so I was able to slap on just a Tabula, and what I had to give up in order to put on a Tabula was that I needed Energy Shield badly. You need to have around 500 Energy Shield to cast when using Eldritch Battery for a miner. So what I did is I basically just got these small cluster jewels with energy from Not. I had to sacrifice 2 of my actual jewel sockets for that in order to get the points, and also 2 extra jewels because this used to be damage jewel, damage jewel. This used to be a damage jewel. This used to be a damage jewel. So we're looking at like say 30 multi per jewel, 120 multi off the build. Boom. And also Skin of the Lords, or sorry, Tabula is like 20% less damage than a skin. Yeah, about 20, yeah, see, 26% more damage. So that's where the 50% less damage. Now, to be fair, if you're doing regular, aka non-Uber bosses, this would easily be able to insta-phase normal Maven. Even probably 3-player, it would still insta-phase her on the last phase. So this would still be very good, and then you can work your way up to the higher budget version. And the higher budget version, as you can see here, is Better Cast on Death 3.22. It sits at 107 million DPS at level 93. So it's very similar to the 113 million at level 92 that we had. We just need like 1 extra level. Now, if you actually wanted to make up the damage even more, all you're going to need instead of having a spell crit corruption on your gloves is to get a +1 frenzy charge, and then you're going to be at 114 million. However, your crit is going to be a little bit on the low end at 96%. So you might just want to basically pay for say 5-way XP or something and then get Doomcast. And this is going to fix your crit. Now, if you do that, you're sitting at 121 million, but it's level 97. Now, what you could do for that, if you had a little bit of currency, is to basically cut all of this out. So cut out Pain Attunement, cut this jewel out, cut all of this. You get a bunch of points back, and now it's level 92. Now, of course, your damage is trash at 86,000 or 86 million, but of course, on Skin of the Lords, you can actually get your Pain Attunement back. So now that would require you to have a very good Skin of the Lords. Let's see, where is it? Skin of the, you know what? I'll just do Skin of the Lords. And then it's going to be Pain Attunement. God, it's been so long. It's going to be Pain Attunement. And then if we do that, you'll see that we are back to 112 million DPS at level 92, which is essentially exactly what the old PoB had. But the only thing, literally the only thing different, I haven't changed a single piece of gear. It's the exact same thing it used to be, except there's a Frenzy Charge Corruption on the gloves. That's it. Everything else is literally the exact same thing. It's just a +1 amulet with crit multi, crafted throw speed. It's very important that you get flat energy shield on the amulet, and very important that you get flat energy shield on the ring. If you don't get that, if you don't get around 500 energy shield, you're not going to be able to use your anger with Divine Blessing because it's going to cost too much. And that's a very, very important part of the build. That's also why we go Eldritch Battery, blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of how you do it a little bit cheaper on the XP. However, if you don't care about paying for 5 ways and you don't mind doing that, then you get to level 97 and then you don't need the Pain Attunement on the Skin of Lords. You can just, come down here and grab it, get your Jewel Socket, then you can make up for the damage. And then instead, you could get a higher DPS option on your Skin of the Lords. So instead of saying going Pain Attunement, I think there's like one, it's like Iron something. Let's see. Iron Will, I believe. Yeah, Iron Will is about the only half decent one. The notable that you can get, as you can see, is about 3% damage, which is, I mean, at this point, when we're getting to these levels of damage, now at that point we're looking at 125 million DPS, but it is level 97. So it really comes down to, do you want to spend a little bit more currency on the gear, or do you want to spend a little bit more currency leveling in 5 ways? Because the reality is you're never going to level with this build. It's not a playable build. If you want to figure out how to level the build or whatever, do that on your own. I just updated the PoB so you guys can go out and nuke these Uber Mavens with a proper bossing build, not some dog shit ZDPS 50 Divine build. So anyways, that'll be Matthew signing out. That's really all I had for you guys. Have a good one. Peace.